After taking office, I announced a new strategy that would end our combat mission in Iraq and remove all of our troops by the end of 2011. As Commander-in-Chief, ensuring the success of this strategy has been one of my highest national security priorities.
As governor, I know that you can pick up the phone and the Guard will be there. No matter what we are faced with, I know I can pick up the phone and our Texas Guard will be there. They have always been there, always ready, always raring to go as America's solution. May it always be so.
Well, this is important. 36 ideas about deploy. All the training that they're going through now, that not only will set them up for success, but really is going to help them when they arrive in theater.
The marker will be held as smoke. Do you copy?
Can everybody hear me okay? This morning we are here to do the right sleeve shoulder insignia ceremony, commonly referred as the combat patch. We wear this with pride and with a great honor and with a lot of responsibility for what we do as we go forward into Iraq to serve as command and control for U.S. Forces South. I am very proud of that, and I'm very proud to be here to do this with each of you.
I will be there with you in spite of hell.
I'll be with you in spite of hell.
Many of you that stand in the ranks this morning have served with 36 Infantry Division units in a combat theater before. This division has mobilized and deployed over 20,000 National Guardsmen since 9/11, and many of you have been a big part of that and are a big part of the rich history of this division headquarters.
Well, the transfer of authority yesterday on the 2nd of January was an historic ceremony for the 36th Infantry Division. We officially took command of United States Division South, which includes the 9 provinces that are south of Baghdad, and we will command and control all of the subordinate units, U.S. units that are in southern Iraq.
Commanding General.
Take seats. going to be something that our Army has never done before to this scale, and it'll be something that will be successful. There's no doubt in my mind, but there's still quite a bit of staff work to do, and as usual, our great soldiers and service members that are down in the ranks will do the heavy lifting to get it done. But I'm extremely proud to be part of this team with you guys, and we do have a good team here.
Incoming!
IDF Kalsu reported by 3rd ACR, grid 38 Sierra Mike Bravo.
What we're able to provide for the commander in the dock is it's like the windshield of a vehicle. So what we provide is the ability for them to be able to put up pictures of what's going on in the area of operations.
Arrowhead, Maine, this is TAC Gatter, Iridium check, over. Basically what we do, we actually monitor what's going on the COP. And something happens down in Basra, we have the capabilities to take over. We have capabilities to communicate with the BDOC here and just send reports up to the next level and keep everybody aware of what's going on.
Credibility is an important part of this job. If the CG and the staff do not believe that we know what we're doing, then they won't believe us. Because we had a lot of reporting every day. Threats against different bases. A lot of it doesn't happen. We may get a human report or even a signals intelligence report saying somebody's going to attack. Off of, counter IDF and focus it on support for them, and they're not going to give us that.
Right.
So
we're not getting it now, and we ask, and they say no, then we're not losing it.
Well, see, I think that's right. One of the things of it is, it's like, and we've got to this where we're only going to focus on what we have. If we utilize our assets and don't worry about asking for shit from them, then we won't be disappointed.
Roger.
All right. We don't want to sound like Chicken Little, with the skies falling all the time. So we have to be very careful about what we report and how we report. But we also don't want to keep information, basically stovepipe information so it doesn't get out. So that's one of the challenges of this job. Also, nobody wants this job either. So nobody will trade with me when I ask, hey, trade with me. They don't want to do that because it is a hard job, and it's and the common joke is between me and the three, when there's something goes wrong, it wasn't a failure of operations, it was a failure of intelligence. So you gotta get used to that.
Just the dynamic of Iraq is, this here is it's a lesson in complexity. You have, the regional influence, you have political influence, you have sectarian influence, you have tribal influence, you have clan influence, you have your immediate family, and it's anytime you're really trying to find, anytime you're trying to get somebody to do something, you're trying to find their motivation, and getting them to want to do what you want them to do. And when you have that much complexity, throughout Iraq, it's a challenge. Basically, what our cell does is we prepare products for our 3 general officers to use in their key leader engagements when they go out and either meet an ISF or a government official or a prominent member of the community. We provide them talking points based on current events, based on what's happening in the OE, and then what we do is we try to delineate a clear objective for them to accomplish during that meeting.
So we're back to the same problem, whether the central government going to pay or the federal government going to pay.
الحكومة الاتحادية تقول هذا واجب الحكومة. البترودولار موجود في البصرة والعمارة والناصرية وكركوك والمحافظات.
Then at that time, the central government will be able to pay for the maintenance of these stations.
But even if a company were to come and construct a power station, the financing still would have to be there, and most corporations would not want to invest money in an area that they help them secure.
We really hope that you get the investors to come in to do it. My work at embassies in other countries has been to try to bring in international investors from the United States, Europe, some of the rich countries, to help build a country up. Countries that don't even have active militias or terror cells shooting rockets, even those countries can have trouble bringing international investors. You can't guarantee what the militias are going to do after the Americans leave. Won't they use their strength to try to influence politics or influence where the money is? That's what the international corporations worry about.
ولما يطلعون القوات
سبق وأن تحدثنا عن جنابك بهذا الخصوص.
We have talked about it.
Yeah.
Being first with the message, whether it's good news, whether it's bad news, we have to be ready for that.
Coordinated attacks across the country, all within a 2-hour period. It was, said America's top commander in Iraq, a bad day.
Weekly we're seeing mass Cal events. We continue to push that theme of the violence of Iraq is killing Iraqis, injuring Iraqi, or damaging their infrastructure, thus preventing optimal economic development.
No, sir. We'll meet again next week. We'll make the updates and coordinate the changes as directed, sir.
All right, thanks.
I need the effects team to stand by, please.
Now, here's your Pentagon Channel report.
A secure border between Iraq and Iran is key to maintaining international commerce, trade, and security in southern Iraq.
Al-Shib is one of our border outposts. We have 4 of them within this AOR.
Soldiers of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division have 2 primary missions: training, assisting, and advising the Iraqi Department of Border Enforcement and the Port of Entry.
You talk about the ability of Iraqi security forces to keep these insurgents at bay. From what you've seen, how prepared are Iraqi security forces right now?
One of the main things we're doing here is working, advising, and assisting the Iraqi security forces, and really a majority of our rotation has been focused on improving the Iraqi security forces and their readiness and training. It's gone really well. They've improved a lot. We've kind of graduated them. They started out with individual and worked their way up, and the last exercises that we've been running have been much larger exercises.
There's a marked difference in the professionalism and capability of the Iraqi security forces than there was here in 08. And now you see that they're able to execute combat operations, whether it was Shining Star, Operation Lions Leap 1, Lions Leap 2, Tadrib al-Shamal, some of the other operations that they've done since we've been here. They have a very strong grasp of what they're doing, and they're getting better.
What we notice is there's a distinct disconnect between the DBE, the IA, the IP, all the various agencies that have responsibility for the war. And what we hope to get out of today is a discussion from them about why they should or shouldn't do something about these things. And then ultimately a decision from General Mohammed saying, fix it, or do this, or do that.
I think they're going to get something out of this. They all have, like I say, in the last 48 hours, really dived into what's going on. So we'll see.
Well, we have a pretty broad array of things that we're responsible for here. The thing that takes up the majority of our time is basing, and the thing that keeps us busy there is trying to close down all of the bases in southern Iraq by the end of the year, which is pretty daunting when you consider we spent the last 8 years building these bases up, and now we're trying to pull them down.
There's a 86-step process that we have oversight of. There's 12 milestones that we track that are critical to the transition process. Each one of those 12 is a showstopper if not completed at its set milestone. One of those critical milestones is the foreign excess personal property transition. It's up to 180 days for the larger bases to conduct the property inventories.
We've seen all the buildings, unless you guys want to go back through and see anything else. But then we're going to head back over to the Iraqi Air Force headquarters, Building 1. Is that good? Ali? That's good. Good? Building 1? Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Building 1. Okay, Building 1.
The partnerships overall are very strong. There's a lot of communication and parallel planning taking place for these base transitions. It's never a spur-of-the-moment operation. There's always a deliberate and planned approach to these. And it's always a good thing to turn these bases over, whether it's a full return or a partial return. Once again, it shows our commitment to uphold our promise to the sovereign nation of Iraq.
Today is big day, May 12 for the Al-Qut Air Base.
Thank you, sir.
We're at the inauguration of the school in Salam. It was funded with CERP funds, a great example of civil and military cooperation to bring something new to the Iraqi people.
Well, for regular CERP, it all starts at the provincial level. We don't have a bottomless pit of money, so we have to rank prioritize for the various provinces. But our number one goal is to try to support the people. So as we look at those projects, we try to select the ones that will give us the biggest bang for our buck or return on our investment back to the people. I believe that the most successful projects that have been here is one, has to be the schools. Because I personally believe in order to change the environment here is through education. So I would say that would have the most enduring and long-lasting relationship that we've been able to establish.
So this was a 4-room schoolhouse targeted primarily for girls, which we're especially happy about. That community is very traditional and tribal, so in many cases if the schools are mixed, then parents won't send their children or their daughters to school. This school will be for about 120 young girls, and it will give many of them the first chance to attend school. So we're especially happy about that.
We have been responsible for 441 projects various projects we have done throughout USD South. So now what we're trying to do, because Congress wants to know, and the people of America want to know, what did we spend the money on these CERP projects and ICERP projects, and to me they have a right to know.
08 Kilo Alpha Kilo Lima 180. Yeah, this is it. Yep.
Yeah, 49065.
All right, there we go.
Well, I really never
I didn't even know this opportunity existed, and I was really thankful when someone from the G9 approached me, because I'm a certified English teacher in the state of Texas, and they came and asked me if I would be willing to teach a class, a conversational English class. Once I got into it and I met with the ladies, their English skills were so advanced that it grew from a conversational English class to actually reading a novel. One day after we finish this book, maybe you can accomplish. Each class takes a significant amount of time. I write the curriculum, I develop the curriculum, and I write the lesson plans for each class. The curriculum and the lesson plan development takes quite a bit of time during the week, but it's all worth it. Scares David Ponder, and he's like, "Oh my God," and she says, "It's just a little loud." Like, she was joking. Women are amazing women. They are modern, they are progressive, they are highly intelligent, and I have enjoyed immensely their relationships, their friendships. We have developed a lifelong bond. I have learned more from these women than I could ever teach them. They have given me more than I can give them.
We've been able to work with the Iraqi infrastructure, the Iraqi security forces here in the Basra area to provide a better amount of security, not only for the civilian population, but also for the military operations that happen jointly out at the Basra International Airport. Obviously, we're sitting on one of the world's largest oil reserves, and it's very close to the ground. It is not a drill 5 miles underneath the Gulf of Mexico type situation. It's literally under your feet right here and readily accessible. Clearly the country has some security challenges that are going to have to be worked with, and those are obvious speed bumps to their success as far as economics. Here in the South, they have everything that a country would want for development: a natural resource, a labor pool that can meet the requirements of the industry, trafficable ports of both air and sea. And I speak of Qasr and then also the Basra airport here. And those things could go a long way towards developing not only southern Iraq, but providing some of the catalyst for development of things such as geoengineering, all the engineering types that go with oil exploration, infrastructure and the civil engineering aspect of it, increased governance and international standards as far as business activity goes. So I think there's all the natural resources that you would want to grow and flourish into something that's truly got a lot of potential to it.
By 1 July, this third of the barn is going to be turned over to the State Department. So all the military on this side is going to move to this side or outside the D main. And
the establishment of the Consulate General here in Basra is a significant step forward in the transition from the civilian military footprint that you see today with the provincial reconstruction teams to a more civilian, a more traditional diplomatic presence. And we've had great cooperation working with the 36th Infantry Division, but of course the 36th is going to be deploying out of Iraq pretty soon. And so the consulate and the establishment of a consulate is essentially indicating that the United States is making a continued commitment to Iraq.
There's no difference, no change in commitment on the part of the United States. It's just a different role for the United States in a diplomatic role versus a military role. And I feel honored, and I know my soldiers feel very honored that we were able to play a part in that.
Well, I had somebody, when I first got ready to come, came over and spent about a month with the 1st Infantry Division. And he pulled me aside and said, "You've got to do this right." And I said, "Yeah, I know, I understand." And he said, "No, you don't." And he pulled out a book, and it had a picture of all of the soldiers that were killed in the various rotations he had been in. And he said, "Y'all are the ones going to write the final chapter in Iraq." And so I've always kind of carried that with me in my heart, that we've got to wind up this correctly and professionally with honor, so that everybody that went before us can see that, you know, the United States was here for the right reasons, and we closed it out the right way.
The list of accomplishments we achieved together in Operation New Dawn is long and impressive. USD South managed over 740 civil support projects revitalizing Iraq's economy, improving its infrastructure, as well as improving its judicial system and its rule of law. We also simultaneously set the conditions to reposture U.S. forces in Iraq and closed AT bases and 9 provincial reconstruction teams. I truly believe this team made historically significant contributions that will help create a brighter future for the people of Iraq, improving the environment so democracy can flourish and the people can prosper.